Good morning, guys, and welcome back to another Sunday meal prep video. Super excited that you are joining me again today for another big meal prep. If you are new to meal prepping, you don't necessarily have to meal prep as much as what I meal prep. Mine has kind of developed over time, and Charlie and I just through trial and error kind of figured out what worked for us. So if you've never seen one of my videos before, my name is Jennifer. I am 47 years old. I meal prep for our dinners for the whole week, so basically Sunday night through Friday night. So I will make 2 meals, 6 servings of each, and then we alternate those every other night. A lot of people ask us, do we get tired of that? And we really don't, because we just kind of look forward to picking our 2 meals each week and seeing what, we're kind of craving. Some things we'll get tired of, we might eat it too much or whatever, so we do switch it up. But during that one week, we will have each of those meals 3 times each, so every other day. But it works for us. It makes our evenings easy, and yeah, we do a lot of work on Sundays. I also do all of my laundry on Sunday, kind of in between while I'm meal prepping. Sunday has always been my laundry day, probably for the past 10 years or so, and it's just something that I've always done just to kind of prep myself to go to work. And anyway, I just love getting all of my personal clothes done on Sundays as well, and now we get all of our food done on Sunday, so we are here to work. I also have 3 cats, and occasionally they do show up in the video. Nico is over here. He is usually the one that always wants to be on camera, so he might saunter over here in a second and I will show him to you. But anyway, with all of that being said, if you are new here and you haven't yet subscribed, please go ahead and click that red subscribe button down below and that notification bell. It really helps out my channel. And hit that like button as well. And also follow me over on Instagram. I will leave my Instagram handle for you here on the screen as well. And then I have a really great Facebook group that I co-admin with Roy from Recipes with Roy and Bree from Balancing Life with Bree. It is called Finding Our Way, W-E-I-G-H. This is the icon to that group. There is a direct link down in the description box to that group, and I wish that you would join over there as well. And now, with all of that being said, let's go over today's menu. So we are not doing any new meals this week. We are going to do 2 repeat meals. The past few weeks I've tried to incorporate a new meal. Last week it really was hard for me to find one. This week I didn't really even feel like looking for a new meal. We weren't really satisfied with our new meal that we had last week, so I wanted to make sure that we picked stuff that was filling, that we knew that we loved this week, so that we can have a good, satisfying week. So with that being said, we are going to have Kung Pao Chicken with the cauliflower fried rice, and then of course we do eat that with spring rolls and a couple of pot stickers. The meal within itself is a very low point meal, so it does allow for me to have the additional points for the spring roll and the pot stickers. And then the other meal is going to be the Mexican meatloaf with the diced sweet potatoes and the roasted vegetables. And that is one of my favorite meals. I know I've made it several times on here. It is in the WW app. There is a lower point version. The way that I make it, it does come out a little bit higher because we use the Jiffy mix, but it's what we've done for years. It's what we like, and it's what we're going to stick to. I've tried it 2 or 3 other ways, and I just don't like it as well. So again, there are lower point alternatives that you can do instead of using the Jiffy mix on the Mexican meatloaf. And then for dessert today, we are going to make some Hannah banana bread, or Hannah banana cake, whatever you want to call it. I guess it's banana bread. So I do have a couple of ripe bananas left over here. I can't remember how many the recipe calls for. It's a super simple recipe, and we will make that and throw it in the oven. I think it takes like 45 minutes to cook, and it is delicious. Sprinkled with a little bit of that monk fruit sweetener on top. It gives it that nice little sweetness. If you have not tried that, highly recommend it. Although the first time I made it, we loved it so much. Like Charlie and I were like, we wanted to eat the whole loaf. And it's not very filling. And I have debated on whether or not to put some protein powder in there. Not sure if I want to or not. Thinking about it. We'll see once we get to the recipe. The recipe within itself is perfect. It's easy. It's a sugar-free cake mix. But there's really no protein. There's nothing to really fill you up. So I'm debating on switching it up a little bit, trying something new. But I don't want to mess something up that's good the way that it is. So we'll just see how I'm feeling once I get to that point. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alrighty, we are getting ready to start on our meal prep. Here's Mr. Nico to say good morning. He says, I'm the star. Just film me all day. Don't film that old cooking. He is trying to check out everything. Let me pick him up and get him out of the way. So this week we have some chicken breasts. They're the same that I always get. That pack of chicken was actually kind of leaking. I'm not going to take it out of that bag because Charlie actually has to run to the store real quick before he starts prepping, but I'm ready to get in the shower, so I wanted to film this. I realized last night as I was editing my meal prep video that was coming out today that I forgot to get my cantaloupe. And then we need some of our spring rolls and pot stickers for the Asian meal. So he's going to make a quick run to Publix, and they also did not have his little potato chips. So while he's gone to Publix, I'm just going to put everything back up. Well, I usually leave the fruits and veggies out. I'll put the chicken back up, but I did not want to unwrap it and like get the countertop gross. So there's just our normal chicken breast in there. He will dice up 3 or 4 of those for the Kung Pao Chicken, and then for the Mexican meatloaf, we are going to have some of the diced sweet potatoes. So here are the sweet potatoes that he's going to dice up. And then, of course, my normal cantaloupe for my lunches. And then I have my blueberries that I will wash. And then we have our normal bell pepper trio for him to dice up. And then my tomato for my sandwiches this week. So, yeah, we will roll into Charlie's prep now as soon as he gets back from the store, and then he will also have a cantaloupe, hopefully.
I can't believe that you came into my life. You made me feel again. Now it's my turn. You say you've always been a little bit shy, but I can put an end to your fears. Let me show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet until they start to bleed. DJ, take it away. Tonight is all for you and me. So baby, spin and let the music begin. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin for me. Won't you spin? Don't let the doubt in you win. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin for me. Won't you? I know it's hard for you to give it a try, but you are not alone. I'm here with you. I think you owe it to this beautiful night to lose all your control. Do it for you. Let me show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet until they start to bleed. DJ, take it away. Tonight is all for you and me. So baby, spin and let the music begin. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin for me. Won't you spin? Don't let the doubt in you win. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin for me. Won't you? Don't be afraid. Just let go of your fears, 'cause you know you can do it, baby. Dance them away. Now you know how it feels. Now you know you can do it, baby. And let the music begin. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin for me. Won't you spin? Don't let the doubt in you win. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin.
Alright guys, I am ready to do my fruit bowls. I have my cantaloupe, pineapple, and blueberries here. We are just going to divide all of this evenly. Of course, for me, fruit is 0 points, so I don't exactly measure it out. But I'm just going to eyeball it and measure it equally, and then we should end up with some nice pretty fruit bowls like that. So I will show it to you at the end. And then I also am doing my non-fat Greek yogurt. I do have the Sam's Club brand that I picked up last week that I'm going to use today, but I do like it just as well as the Chobani. This is cheaper, but I don't go to Sam's Club enough to get it all the time, so I did pick one up when we went last week. So I'm going to make my 7 fruit bowls and my 7 yogurts, and I will be right back. All right, here are my completed fruit bowls, 7 containers of yogurt, my tomato for my sandwiches that Charlie sliced up, and my diced peppers as well, looking nice and pretty today. So I'm going to put this up, and we're going to do the Mexican meatloaf, the sweet potatoes, and the vegetables. Get those ready to go in the oven. All that pretty much cooks for about an hour. And so while that's cooking, then we can work on the Kung Pao chicken. Okay, so I have everything out for the Mexican meatloaf. I have my pound of lean ground turkey already in the bowl. To that, I'm going to add 2 eggs. I'm going to use salt and pepper, chili powder, and ground cumin, you know, my favorites. And then we are going to use some red enchilada sauce and this can of the diced green chilies. This is where you can save points. If you pull the recipe up in the WWF, it calls for 2 ounces of, I can't remember what it is exactly because I've changed it in mine, but we just use this box of Jiffy Mix. It makes it really good, but it does increase the points quite a bit, but that's the way we like it. So we will use that whole box of Jiffy Mix. And I have my 2 eggs ready to go. I'm going to get my cans open, and then we're going to get this mixed up and scooped into 12 muffins. And I have already sprayed my muffin tin, and the oven is preheated to 375. After we do that, before we put them in, we are going to do these sweet potatoes. We are going to season these up with just olive oil spray, pink Himalayan sea salt, and cinnamon. We're going to go through it a couple of times so that they are all nicely coated, and they are going to bake in the oven at the same time. And then I have this sheet pan ready for the California blend veggies. We're just going to put those on and use my favorite Montreal steak seasoning, which is super spicy. So that is the plan. I'm going to get the muffins ready first, then we'll get these 2 ready, and then they will all go in the oven together for about an hour. Okay, so we are ready to get this mixed up. Again, I already have the ground turkey in here, so I'm just going to go ahead and season it up with salt and pepper. Again, I always just say season to your taste. Y'all know we like a lot. And then I'm going to go ahead and go in with my chili powder. I think the recipe actually calls for 1/4 of a teaspoon. I'm not going to measure it. We're just going to go in with some, and it calls for 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground cumin as well. And then we're going to go ahead and add in our 2 eggs and the box of the Jiffy Mix. And then we're going to go in with the diced green chilies, the whole can. And we're only going to do about 1/2 of the can of the enchilada sauce. And then they're going to basically cook for about 55 minutes. Then we're going to pull them out and then top them with the rest of the enchilada sauce and then put them in for an additional 5 minutes or so. Okay, so we are just going to mix all of this together well, and then it will be ready to scoop into the 12 muffins. Okay, so we have these ready to divide into the 12 muffins. I'm just going to use my little ice cream scoop here.
There's no need to complicate things. Let's stick to the basics. We both know what we want. Let's just keep it simple. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. We dance on the same wavelength. This feels like a new beginning.
Okay, so those are ready to go in the oven, but first we're going to get the potatoes and the vegetables ready to go in at the same time. Okay, we are ready to get the sweet potatoes together. I'm just going to use 3 things on that. I'm going to spray them really well with the extra virgin olive oil spray, and then we're going to sprinkle quite a bit of cinnamon on there and some pink Himalayan sea salt. I'm going to do it a couple of times to make sure that everything is coated through equally.
We both know what we want. Let's just keep it simple. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So won't you let me trip with you? Leaning and follow, leave us till tomorrow. So won't you let me trip with you? Leaning and follow, leave us till tomorrow. So won't you let me? So won't you let me?
potatoes are ready to go in. I'm going to set these to the side and we're going to season the veggies real quick. Now I've already placed my vegetables on here, as you can see, and the only thing that we are going to season them with is the Montreal steak seasoning, and this is just the California blend bird's eye vegetables. Okay, and that's all that I'm going to do to those. I don't spray them or do anything else or salt and pepper. This is salty enough on its own. So highly recommend this. It is a little spicy, so if you don't like that, then change it up however you want to. All this is going in the oven at 375 degrees for about an hour. I am going to set a 30-minute timer so that I can stir the potatoes and kind of swap the shelves that everything is on. And then we will take out the meatloaf about 5 minutes before it's complete and pour the rest of the enchilada sauce on there and then finish it up. So 375 for 45 minutes to an hour on the meatloaf, and then 45 minutes to an hour on the veggies and the sweet potatoes. Alright, so I have the Mexican meatloaves out of the oven. They've been in for 55 minutes. We are just going to top them with the remainder of the enchilada sauce and pop them back in for about 5 more minutes, and then they will be done. And the potatoes and the veggies are done as well. I went ahead and took those out. Okay, there it is. It is going back in for about 5 more minutes. Alright, I am ready to start plating up the meatloaf, the sweet potatoes, and the veggies. We're going to start on the sweet potatoes because I am going to weigh those out. I'm going to put 4 ounces in each of mine, and then Charlie will just get the excess. So I am going to measure mine. Ooh, these are looking good and caramelized. That's what y'all want. I love some sweet potatoes, y'all. If there's a bunch left over, I may have to put 5 ounces in mine. But we'll start with 4. And I pretty much count them a point per ounce. Okay, so yeah, I am going to go ahead and do 5 in mine just because otherwise Charlie's going to have a ton. Alright, I got mine done. I went ahead and did 5 ounces. So Charlie will just get the remainder. He's going to have a heaping pile of sweet potatoes. But I don't have to measure his because he's not on Weight Watchers. And if potatoes are 0 for you, then you wouldn't have to measure yours either. Charlie probably has about 10 ounces of potatoes in his, y'all. But that's okay. He can eat that. If you hear the dogs bark, it's because Charlie just pulled up. I'm going to go ahead and put the meatloaf in. We will each get 2 muffins. And then here are the roasted veggies. Looking delicious. And I'm just going to divide those equally. This is where I would give myself some excess if there's too many, since Charlie got all the excess potatoes. Alright, here are the completed Mexican meatloaf muffins with the roasted sweet potatoes and roasted California blend vegetables. This meal is delicious. This is one of our favorites. We've been eating this for several years, even if we have not been doing Weight Watchers, because we love the recipe so much. So if you want to try a recipe out that maybe your family won't think is a Weight Watchers recipe, try this one. It's usually loved by all. So okay, I'm going to get this put away and we will move on. Alright, we are ready to get started on the Kung Pao Chicken, the cauliflower fried rice, and the stir-fry veggies. So basically for the stir-fry veggies, I'm probably just going to heat them up in the microwave and then put them on the stove in a skillet and just kind of let them cook slowly until I get ready to mix them with the chicken. So for the chicken, we're just going to season it up with salt and pepper, and then we are going to use 7 servings, which I think is 14 tablespoons of this Kung Pao sauce, which is basically about 1 cup of it. And of course we will season this up as well with, you know, I think I like to use the chili powder and the ground cumin in it. And then for the cauliflower rice, I will use an egg in there kind of at the end. We're going to put some minced garlic, some soy sauce, and then the fried rice seasoning packet, and then of course salt and pepper. For these, I will just put salt and pepper on them, and then once I mix it with the chicken, then we will top it off with the rest of the Kung Pao sauce. I'll probably use like 3/4 of the cup on the chicken, and then just reserve 1/4 of a cup, and once I mix it all, then I will use the remainder of the sauce. So anyway, let's get started and get this meal done. Okay, so we are going to get started just seasoning up the chicken with salt and pepper on one side, and then we're going to put it in the skillet and we will season the other side, and then add in the chili powder and the ground cumin. So I'm just going to spray my pan and we'll add in our chicken, and then we're going to go ahead and salt and pepper the other side. And that will start cooking here in just a minute. This skillet gets pretty hot pretty quick. So while we're waiting on that, we're going to go ahead and do the fried rice in our little pot back here that we have for it. At least get it softening up. So I'm just going to spray. I am going to use 3 packets of the Green Giant Cauliflower Medley. I'm going to go with 1, 2, and 3. So I'm just going to salt and pepper the cauliflower, and then we're going to put the lid on it and let it soften up. Then we'll add in the soy sauce, the garlic, the fried rice seasoning packet, and then the egg. And sorry, I know the chicken is loud. Okay, so the chicken is just now starting to cook. I'm going to go ahead and season it up with some chili powder and ground cumin and get my Kung Pao sauce measured out. So we're just going to go in with some chili powder and some ground cumin. If you don't like it spicy, then I would definitely leave these out. And we're going to go ahead and measure out 14 tablespoons of the Kung Pao sauce. This one, well, it's the only one that I've ever tried. This one from Panda Express. It's really good. I need to open this. I'm going to have to get the scissors. Highly recommend it. This usually does 2 meals for us. So for the Kung Pao sauce, I do measure it out. I just weigh it because we're going to use 7 servings, which a serving is 2 tablespoons. So we're going to use 14 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons is 35 grams. So we're just going to do 7 times 35. So we need 245 grams. So that's what I'm going to measure out. There we go, 244. Close enough. So now we have that measured. I'm going to give everything a stir. My stir-fry veggies, I just warmed up in the microwave. We're going to put those in this other large skillet over here, so let me grab those and stir this cauliflower as well. Okay, so here are my stir-fry veggies, fresh out of the microwave. So I'm just going to put them in this pan over here. So we're just going to spray it. So they're pretty soft, but I want them to cook a little bit more. And I'm just going to add some salt and pepper to the veggies. So everything's coming along nicely. The cauliflower softening up. The chicken's starting to cook. I want it to kind of brown just a little bit more, and then we will add in the Kung Pao sauce. I'm going to go ahead. I've cracked my egg for the cauliflower rice in here. I'm going to need 60 milliliters of soy sauce. I'm just using this Publix brand, the low sodium. I'm 63, close enough. So we've got all that stuff ready. Okay, so the chicken is looking good. So we're going to go ahead and start doing the stuff for the fried rice. So we are going to go in with our soy sauce. We're going to do a big teaspoon of minced garlic. And we're going to add in our fried rice seasoning packet. And I'm going to mix that up and let that cook for a few minutes, and then we will add in the egg. We're going to scoot it to the side, and we'll scramble the egg and then mix it in. Okay, while the cauliflower rice cooks for just another minute, I'm going to turn the heat down on the chicken. It is done. We're going to add in most of the Kung Pao sauce. We'll reserve a little. Okay, so the chicken will be good to set just for a couple of more minutes, and then we can add in the veggies. The cauliflower rice is pretty much done as well. We need to get the egg scrambled. So what I'm going to do is push it all over to one side. And we are going to put our egg in, just like that. And then we will just scramble it here on the side and then mix it all in together. And if you don't want to, you don't have to add the egg. Okay, that's it. That gets that egg scrambled. And now we are just going to mix it all in together. And this will taste just like real fried rice. Okay, so the rice is pretty much done. I'm just going to let it kind of sit there and hang out. The chicken is also done, and the veggies. So what I'm going to do is swap the vegetables over here because this pan is bigger. And then we're just going to add the chicken straight in there. And we're going to go ahead and add in the remainder of the Kung Pao sauce. And then we're just going to mix this all together, and this meal is pretty much done. All that is left is just to let this simmer just for a couple of more minutes to get everything to blend together well, and then we will be ready to plate it up. All right, we are ready to plate up our last meal here of the cauliflower fried rice and the Kung Pao chicken. I'm going to put the rice on the bottom in all of the bowls and then just top it off with the chicken. This is a very low point meal. It's just 1 to 2 points per serving, so I'm not going to like weigh it out and measure it perfectly. If you want to, then feel free to do that, but I don't think that it's necessary on super low point items. So we are just going to divide our cauliflower and then top it with the chicken and veggies. Okay, so we got all the cauliflower in there. Now we are just going to top with the Kung Pao chicken and stir fry veggies. This is such a good, easy, low point meal. So yummy.
It does look like big fun. Come on, let's get it on. Like that Marvin Gaye song. I'm stunning, you love it. Come on, give me something. I know that you want it. Come on, give me something. The night is young and so are we. So maybe you should leave with me. The night is young and so are we, baby. The night is young, so let's have some fun. If you love me right, yeah, this could be the summer of our lives.
All right, here is the Kung Pao chicken. It is delicious, nice and filling, very low in points. Of course, the cauliflower fried rice is underneath. And then on the nights that we have this, we will pair it with the Thai pie pot stickers, and we will each have a Chung's spring roll. And so it's 3 points for a Chung's spring roll with the sauce, which is what I will have, and then 3 points for 2 of the pot stickers. So this will end up to be like a 7 to 8 point meal. So pretty good. The other meal is higher in points because the Mexican meatloaf is higher in points. So anywho, super excited about this. This is one of our favorite meals. It is delicious. Okay, we are getting ready to start on the Hannah banana bread. She has it on her Instagram page, the recipe. I will also have it typed out below and the link to my WW app. It's basically 4 points on blue if you cut this into 10 slices, which is what I will do. I'm just going to use this little bread pan. You could make it into muffins as well, but I'm just going to do it in the bread like I have been doing. And what you need is 1 box of sugar-free yellow cake mix. You need 3 ripe bananas, which I have those here. 1 is really ripe, the other 2 are pretty ripe as well. 2 eggs. I forgot, I got them out. So you need 2 eggs also. We are going to do a dash of vanilla extract, and then on top we are going to just sprinkle some monk fruit sweetener. So I'm going to get my eggs put in first, then my bananas. We will mash them and then get everything else mixed in there and get this in the oven. This has to bake for 40 to 45 minutes, and I feel like the last time I really had to bake mine for 45 minutes. So it does take a little bit at 350 degrees. Let's do our 2 eggs. And then we will get our bananas in there. I'm going to use a potato masher on the bananas also. Okay, let's get these bananas in there. 3 ripe bananas. And then I'm just going to use my old potato masher that I don't ever use for potatoes and mash these bananas up. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and put in our cake mix. And then just a dash of vanilla, which this may only have a dash left in it. Yep. And so we're just going to mix this together well, and then we will spray our pan and get it in there and then sprinkle some monk fruit sweetener on top. Okay, that's mixed pretty well. So we are going to just spray our pan with the pan baking spray. Spray our pan. Did I say spray our pan? I'm going to coat that pretty good so that it does not stick. Okay, so it is ready. We are just going to take a little bit of monk fruit sweetener and sprinkle on top. And I do recommend doing this step because it kind of crystallizes. It's really good. Okay, so now we are going in the oven. I'm just going to go ahead and set mine for 45 minutes. All right, everyone, we have finished meal prep for the day again. We have our fruit over here, 7 containers of fruit and yogurt. Again, this will be for my lunches each day this week. And then we have the Mexican meatloaf with the diced sweet potatoes and the veggies. I think this whole meal comes out to about 12 points. It's about 8 points for the Mexican meatloaf. And then for me, I put 5 ounces of sweet potatoes in my container. So I will count those as 5 points. So what is that, 12 or 13? What's 8 plus 5? 13?
Yeah.
So it's a 13-point meal. 8 plus 5 is 13. I can't do simple math. Yes, I'm an accountant, but hello. And then Charlie, of course, got all of the additional sweet potatoes in his, so he probably has about 8 or 10 ounces or so of sweet potatoes in his containers. And then over here we have the Kung Pao Chicken with the fried rice. This is a 1 to 2 point meal. It's pretty low in points. And then, like I said, we will pair it with the pot stickers and the spring rolls. So that comes out to about a 7 or 8 point meal. Hannah banana bread back there. This depends on how many slices you make out of it. We typically cut it into 10, and I think that comes out to 4 slices on my personal points, or it did on the blue plan. I don't know if I've made it since we changed to personal points, but we will see what it calculates out to. Again, with all of these recipes, I will have the link to my recipe and my WW app linked down in the description box below. I don't know if I said that yet today. I have my scrambled eggs for every day this week and my bacon as well. So I am set up for success this week. So hopefully we have a good week. And I have completed another successful meal prep. All right, thank you so much for joining me for another Meal Prep Sunday. I hope that you try some of these meals. I know that all of these are repeat meals. We've had all of these before, so I highly recommend all of them. You cannot go wrong with any of these meals. They are delicious. The fruit, of course, will be paired with my lunch. I will have sandwiches at least 3 days this week, and then pizzas probably the other couple of days. We have some Hannah banana bread here, which is super yummy, and I have my breakfast ready for the week also. So again, thank you so much to all of my Jennifer's Gems that make it all the way to the end. I appreciate you guys, and if you haven't yet already subscribed, click that red subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell. It really helps out my channel. And if you like this video, be sure to give me a like and leave me some comments down below as well. I love to chat with you guys. I love y'all, and I will see you all in the next video.